We're now at Sepilok on Sabah's east coast to visit one of the most famous canopy walkways in all of Malaysia, the Rainforest Discovery Center. And this place is a mecca for bird watching. You can hear, this is dawn now, all the birds calling, including some of the gibbons. We've heard hornbills already, a couple species, and prospects are high that we'll find some amazing birds here. Didn't stop. You can hear the hill miners calling now.
Sepilok's canopy walkway was built over 20 years ago and has undergone several renovations and extensions so that it is now the longest canopy walk in Sabah. Unlike most other canopy walkways in Borneo, which are essentially hanging bridges that are suspended between trees and are quite shaky, the Sepilok walkway is a completely freestanding structure that is wide and stable enough to use a tripod. This makes it perfect for wildlife photography.
Oh, that's good. Actually, if he gets over to that tree, there might be some decent lighting. Let's wait and see. Here we go. So actually, one of the most unexplored parts of the rainforest is the rainforest canopy. And this is particularly true in Borneo because in Borneo, we have pretty much the tallest tropical rainforest on the planet. Some of the rainforest trees in Borneo reach heights of 100 meters. And this is why bird watchers and biologists have to take advantage of canopy walkways and canopy towers like this one, because it gives us a chance to explore this very inaccessible aspect of the rainforest. A lot of birds and other animals as well spend their entire lives in the rainforest canopy and never come to the rainforest floor or even the understory layer. And this is the only way that we can get a glimpse of their life and their habits up here in the canopy like this. So the canopy walkway gives us access to view a lot of birds that we wouldn't be able to see from the forest floor. One of these are hornbills. Hornbills are some of the largest birds in Borneo, and we have 8 different species. All are equally spectacular. Here in Sepilok, we've seen so far the bushy-crested hornbill and the black hornbill, including a great sighting of a pair of rhinoceros hornbills this morning. These are, of course, very important birds for dispersing rainforest fruits. They take fig seeds and other seeds of fruits and disperse them all over the forest, so they're very important for the forest ecology.
Hornbills are such an integral part of Borneo's rainforest that they are an important indicator species for the health of the forest. In Borneo, healthy lowland rainforest should have all 8 species of hornbills. If the hornbills are removed, such as by hunting, which we have sadly witnessed in some forests here, the composition of the trees changes over time, eventually resulting in the disappearance of fruiting trees like strangling figs, which has a cascading effect on all other wildlife.
It's right there. Oh, it's not clear now. Okay. Ready? Okay. Okay, here we go.
At the Rainforest Discovery Center, sometimes there can be so many birds at once that it's easy to be distracted. This woodpecker, which was busy foraging for insects, caught our attention by its loud pecking.
Banded kingfisher calling. I think we should go try for that really quick.
Sepilok's Rainforest Discovery Center is much more than just a canopy walkway. At ground level, there's an extensive network of trails that provide opportunities to see birds and animals that live on the rainforest floor. We can still find signs of what's going on up in the canopy. The remnants of fruits, such as these from an adenia vine, have been dropped by canopy birds feeding high up in the trees.
And these are actually eaten by hornbills. I've seen bushy-crested hornbills, you know, big birds that try to land on this super skinny vine, and they peck at the fruits, and eventually the husk of the fruit drops to the ground. It's one of the many fruits that hornbills are responsible for dispersing the seeds of.
Although we didn't manage to locate the banded kingfisher, which we previously heard, we did encounter a different species, the beautiful rufous-backed dwarf kingfisher. Further down the trail, we heard the call of a very special understory bird, which we couldn't pass the opportunity to see. The call was unmistakable. There was a black-crowned pitta nearby. Pittas are notoriously difficult birds to observe in the wild. They're small, extremely shy, and despite their vibrant feathers, blend in surprisingly well with the shadowy undergrowth.
As normal in the tall rainforests of Borneo, you hear a lot more birds than you actually see. But nevertheless, this morning we've had some great sightings of a couple forest birds down on the trails. One of the birds that we saw was the endemic black-crowned pitta, very colorful bird like all the other pittas of Borneo. This species hunts for insects and worms on the forest floor, and often you only hear their call. We're really lucky to get a close look at this beautiful bird.
Four of Borneo's 9 pitta species are found nowhere else in the world. These are some of the most prized birds for any visiting birdwatcher.
Not far away from that, we actually had a close encounter with the also endemic Sabah partridge, which is sometimes called the chestnut-necklaced partridge. Single male bird foraging on the rainforest floor. It even called in front of us, which was a very special experience.
As far as is currently known, the Sabah partridge appears to be endemic to the state of Sabah, and even here it is somewhat patchy in distribution. In most places, this is a shy bird that is very difficult to see, but we were fortunate that this male bird at the Rainforest Discovery Center has been habituated to be unafraid of people.
Is this the spot? They like the shady parts of the forest like this. Let's head on a little bit.
Sepilok is home to 3 species of trogons, which are colorful mid-canopy birds. But although we heard the calls of several, the birds never revealed themselves. But there's little time to be disappointed. Something else shows up in no time.
A pair of fluffy-backed titbabblers. Normally, these are very skulking birds. They hide out in the thickets, the shady part of the rainforest understory. But we managed to get very close to these. They came up and called in close proximity, and you could really see the beautiful colors of this bird. The male was calling, and it displayed these blue patches of skin on its throat. So that was very special to see.
topography is very different in the forest understory than it is on a canopy walkway. In tall rainforest, there is always a struggle to get sufficient lighting. Photographing a black bird in dense forest with a bright sky backlighting the scene made it nearly impossible to capture good images of this black magpie. Although most sunbirds are predominantly nectar feeders, the ruby-cheeked sunbird is built for a different lifestyle. Rather than having a long, curving bill to probe flowers, it only has a short, sharp bill that is used to hunt for insects, and can sometimes be seen probing for hidden caterpillars in curled-up leaves.
In addition to the fruit-eating birds, in the forest canopy we can see a lot of insectivorous birds. Ones we saw this morning are
Verteter flycatcher.
brown barbets, and also black and yellow broadbill. One of the black and yellow broadbills we saw was actually trying to eat a huge caterpillar, almost as big as the bird itself. That was quite a struggle, but amazing to watch.
Birds have a great variety of different bill shapes and sizes, and it's often possible to predict a particular species' diet based on what type of bill it has. The black and yellow broadbill, for example, has a wide, stout bill which it uses to catch and consume large insects. Even with such a specialized bill, this bird seemed to struggle with swallowing an enormous caterpillar.
Some insectivorous birds in the forest canopy, like the flycatchers, perch out in the open and they fly out to catch insects in midair. But there's others that search for insects among the leaves. We saw a group of brown barbets that were slowly moving through the canopy, checking for insects in and under the leaves. And this is another way of foraging called foliage gleaning.
Most of Borneo's barbets are green in color and feed predominantly on fruit. However, the brown barbet is unusual not only for its coloration, but also because it prefers a diet of insects.
So one of the things that you find when you look at anything closely in nature, including birds, is that everything is connected. No species exists in isolation. And a great example of this is seen when we look at what birds are actually feeding on, such as the fruit-eating birds in Borneo. And here in Borneo, one of the most important fruits of all are these. These are figs. And we're looking at two different types here, very small ones to medium-sized ones, and there's some that are even larger. In fact, a lot of people may only be familiar with the common fig that's edible that you find in grocery stores. But in fact, there are hundreds and hundreds of species of figs. And Borneo is one of the epicenters for fig diversity, with over 150 species found on the island.
Figs are so vital a food source for many of Borneo's animals that they simply wouldn't be able to survive without them. Not all animals that consume figs are actually responsible for dispersing the seeds. This role is undertaken only by certain species, such as hornbills, barbets, and bats. If these dispersing animals are missing from the forest, then the figs will eventually disappear as well, thus affecting all other animals that utilize them for food. This is a great example of how everything in the forest is interdependent, and removing one element can affect everything else.